One of the first main villains ever introduced in the Kingdom Hearts series, Maleficent. Potentially, in my eyes, one of the most overlooked characters in the series as well, and not overlooked by the developers, but rather the community. This famous Disney villain who surprisingly has a large role in the Kingdom Hearts series. Some, when they think of Maleficent, just straight up think of Kingdom Hearts because she's quite involved in a few plot strings. It's extremely bizarre how much Maleficent is involved in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross's plot of all things, taking one of the arcs or lifeboats, which sparked a chain of events that would eventually lead to Daybreak Town's downfall and darkness making its move. Maleficent, in the current state of the Kingdom Hearts series, has kind of a more neutral role ever since helping Sora and his friends against the organization in Kingdom Hearts 2, which was a pretty epic moment. Though in every game after Kingdom Hearts 2, Maleficent kind of has this role where she is just lurking around, looking for the box in the Book of Prophecies. This role is seen as something insignificant by some, but it's actually a pretty important role going into Phase 2, theoretically at least. Maleficent, before Kingdom Hearts 3 even came out and Union Cross would reach its climax, was one of the first modern characters to openly discuss the Book of Prophecies. Given the character's connection to Kingdom Hearts Key, we know where this interest began. I mean, they're clearly doing something with Maleficent. Maleficent was in the secret ending to Kingdom Hearts Key browser, was very much involved in the plot lines that would eventually lead to what we're experiencing now in Union Cross, and has a role in Kingdom Hearts 3 while not being something that is overtaking the plot or anything, the main plot going on, is something that is more so a teaser for what's to come, for what's going to be happening, for what the next saga is going to be like, which is why we see this character again in the epilogue. This interest marks for a very important point for her character though in the series, because like Pete says in Recoded, they are indeed onto something very huge, something the rest of the Kingdom Hearts cast isn't even fully concerned about, which directly explains her non-involvement in the Keyblade War during Kingdom Hearts 3. Maleficent during this game knows there's more to be sought after the Keyblade War, and there's no point to them even getting involved. All they care about is the box and the Book of Prophecies in Kingdom Hearts 3. Maleficent sees the box as something that contains the Book of Prophecies, which would be the key to her and Pete ruling over everything. At least that's what they think. As the cutscene Recoded gives us even more insight into her thought process searching for this box, Maleficent knows this Book of Prophecies can conjure things that have yet to exist. And even though Maleficent won't say it out loud to Pete and others, Maleficent is aware from a first-hand experience with darkness and being in Data Daybreak Town, trying to rewrite history, but little does she know she's just a part of it. Which, as you can imagine, in the wrong hands, the Book of Prophecies, the box, would likely lead to some bad things happening, which is exactly what she wants. Since Maleficent has this info, she literally does not care about anything involving Xehanort and the Guardian. She views Sora as inconsequential to what she wants because he kind of is. I mean, as Pete says in Rapunzel's world, Sora's not really looking for the box or anything. And even the people in the organization who are looking for the box don't know what's in the box. The most we got out of them was the box contains some sort of hope, but we don't even know what that means. It's really funny to think about because I say this all the time to friends and to viewers when we're having conversations about Maleficent and other characters in KH3. Maleficent is actually just playing a completely different game in KH3. Like, she has an early copy of Kingdom Hearts 4 and she's just way ahead of all of us. Like, the next arc, as we can imagine, is probably going to have a lot to do with the box, the Masters, the Book of Prophecies, everything from Union Cross we've been looking at is probably going to come forth into the limelight, and Maleficent is like the only one who is even slightly in on it. Everyone else is kind of just like, oh, Keyblade War, save Sora, that's about it. Which makes me wonder, because Maleficent also, which this is a very big deal by the way guys, this is a very big deal, Maleficent is the only character who isn't from Union Cross outside of Lucio and the Foretellers, the only character who has any idea of where the box is or who is in possession of it. What this means is that Maleficent serves as the perfect catalyst to potentially introduce the box to the main characters, tell them about it, tell them who has it, give them intel. They also know that Lucio has Xehanor's Keyblade. Who knows? Maybe they're still chilling around in Keyblade Graveyard and they know all about Lucio's little story. Even if it's just slightly, little inklings of a bigger plot that she knows about, that's still more than probably the rest of the cast is even aware of. The Lost Masters, the Foretellers, they're back, and she knows it. She's the only one, her and Pete from Disney of all people. It's quite insane. When I first played Kingdom Hearts 3, I was very interested in what exactly Maleficent and Pete were doing, because of course following Union Cross and Key for as long as I have, and Recoded as well with the extra cutscene they added in 2.5, I was very curious about if they would actually find the box, what sort of info they would gather, and they would end up actually finding the box in the epilogue, finding out where it is. But of course, nothing major came from it, not yet at least. A lot of people were hoping that the contents of the box would be revealed in Kingdom Hearts 3, or at least that someone would talk more about the Book of Prophecies. But Kingdom Hearts 3 did focus on what it said it was going to focus on, and it focused a lot more on the Keyblade War between the Guardians and the 13 Darknesses. And everything else was kind of just a subplot to further transition us into the next saga. And Maleficent is a part of that transition. Sora, Riku, the others, they aren't part of it yet. Maybe after Melody of Memory they will be, with Mickey going to Scarlet, Kylam and Aqua training with Kairi, but for them, they have to figure out the information. Maleficent literally has the information, like in the palm of her hands basically. And unless Lucio and the Foretellers like catch them and like destroy them or something, which I doubt would happen, who knows what they might do. Maybe they're confident enough, maybe they're like, alright, we can take on 5 Lost Masters, 5 other Keyblade wielders. Or maybe they're just gonna go snitch. Maybe they're gonna be like, alright, this is a lot more than I can handle. So Yen Sid, I got some interesting info for you. Or the King, Mickey, I got some interesting info for you if you want to hear about it. Because from the perspective of Maleficent, they can't really do much else if someone else is in possession of the box. They will probably need help from somebody else, because from Maleficent's perspective, the Book of Prophecies is what is inside the box. What I really do wonder is if they will be the first ones to even open the box, or if they'll be involved in the opening of the box, or Darkness, you know, making a reappearance in our world. It will be very interesting. But overall, I think Maleficent is very overlooked, misunderstood, whatever words you want to use. Because I do see people critique her a little bit in Kingdom Hearts 3, or in general after Kingdom Hearts 2, because in Kingdom Hearts 1, she had a big role as one of our main villains, transitioning into Ansem, introducing keyholes, darkness swallowing up the world, all that stuff that introduced to us how the Kingdom Hearts world and series worked. In Kingdom Hearts 2, she had a little bit more of a minor role, but was still involved in the end game, actually helping us against the organization on 2 instances. But after that, Maleficent hasn't done anything like super duper crazy. Maleficent very occasionally like comes back and tries to like mess with us a little bit, but never wants to fight, which I don't think is that bad of a thing. Given the current plot line of the series, Maleficent is way ahead of us, and she has been showing it. We've been seeing it. Like I've emphasized, the fact that they know about the Book of Prophecies to the extent that they do, the fact that Maleficent was in Daybreak Town during all of that, potentially still having memories from it as well, the fact that they know where the box is by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, those are all extremely big deals. And it kind of shows how smart Maleficent is. I mean, think about it. Maleficent predicted where the box would show up almost perfectly. Maleficent, after going through a bunch of Disney worlds, came to the conclusion that the box just maybe doesn't exist right now. And who knows if that is true or not. Maybe it did exist and Lucio was just hiding it or something. But they might as well have been right, because Maleficent said that during the climax of the Keyblade War, at the end of it, regardless of the victor, the box will probably show. And it did, which is a crazy prediction on Maleficent's part, because Maleficent's already, based off of that, just 1-to-1 in terms of theories. Though they might be wrong about the Book of Prophecies being inside the box. But little things like that are still just crazy to think about. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to start a discussion about Maleficent in Kingdom Hearts, because I think this character is absolutely amazing in the Kingdom Hearts series. I don't feel like they fell off or anything after Kingdom Hearts 2 either. I actually feel like the position they're in is perfectly fine. Yeah, they could have like a little bit more screen time, maybe have a couple of fights here and there, but it's nothing that's really taking away from the plot for me, because I find Maleficent's story and their current interest in the box in the Book of Prophecies as a very nice transition into the next saga, and makes their characters like immensely more interesting rather than just, oh, well, let me take over this Disney world and mess with Sora for a bit. I think them being interested and involved in the Union Cross plot and the lore of that game gives them a way more substantial role than people realize. It may be different for them, maybe very different from what we're used to from them, but it's definitely something I feel like is going to come into play, because Nomura has been playing this plot line with them for a while, since before KH3 came out, since 2.5 first came out in 2014. So Nomura definitely has something planned for them, and I cannot wait to see it. It's going to be hype, or at least entertaining. I'm excited. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, you already know what to do. Leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the Union, all you have to do is hit that red little subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.